The funeral of the Cornish boat builder Ralph Bird has taken place at the cathedral in Truro. Rowers from all over Cornwall formed a guard of honour with their paddles as the coffin was carried in.
Ralph Bird will be remembered as the man who played a key role in the revival of gig racing. Our Cornwall reporter David George was at the service.
The final journey for the Cornish boat builder was, of course, in a Cornish pilot gig. Ralph Bird built the William Peters in 1987. Today it carried his coffin to the cathedral. Gig rowers used their paddles to form the guard of honour for a man who played a key role in making gig racing the enormously popular sport that it is today.
He was the man. He was everything to gig rowing, and the biggest thing with Ralph was that he valued the traditions so much, and he would pass that on to everybody, and he actually infected you with the fact that the traditions mattered.
In 1981, Ralph and a few friends borrowed some gigs from Newquay for a race on the River Fowl. The revival in gig racing had begun. The Cornish Pilot Gig Association was formed at a meeting in his house. Ralph built his first gig, the Buller, at his Riverside workshop in Devon in 1986. His last, number 29, was built just 2 years ago. But he didn't like the name chosen by the owners.
Oh gosh, that's a bit embarrassing. When Tom, the owner, said about it, and I wasn't very happy about it really, but as he said, he said, I'm paying for the boat, he said, and I'll call it what I like. He said, but you can choose the colour.
Ralph Bird was passionate and uncompromising about the boats he built. A handwritten sign in his workshop said something like, if God wanted fiberglass boats, there'd be fiberglass trees.
How much knowledge has now disappeared from under one roof, if you will. He was a man that knew everything about gigs everywhere. I knew about Newquay. Ralph knew about all the gigs everywhere. And like myself, was a lover of gigs and rowing.
Fear Not was named after an old Devon gig, as was the Fury. Newquay gigs, they're always named after the old pilchard cellars in Newquay, so that was fly cellars.
Ralph talking to me at the launch of his last gig when all 29 of his boats were pulled up on the beach. He would always make time to talk, despite what he said.
I work entirely on my own. I choose to do that because I'm too difficult to get on with, really.
He was joking, of course, as the hundreds of friends and rowers who came to his funeral from gig clubs all over the southwest have proved.
I always say what became a teenage interest became a middle-aged obsession, and it sort of almost ruled my life from then up to now. But I've loved every minute of it. It's been wonderful, really.
The voice of Ralph Bird ending that report from David George. And gig racing is going from strength to strength, which is a great legacy and something to remember Ralph Bird by.